Okay, quick music disclaimer here. I do not own the rights to this music, which belongs to the rightful owner, who is the intoxicating mind of Dr. Frankenstein. So he made my intro and my outro, and I hope you guys enjoy. Check them out on Spotify and YouTube, and no copyright infringement is intended. Have a good day.
A clear choice of good versus evil, of right versus wrong.
Twisted Tales.
Thanks for tuning back into Twisted Tales. Tonight's little tale, I'm going to talk about Peter Demeter. He was born April 19th, 1933, 90 years old, Hungarian-born Canadian, and a former real estate developer. So the number of victims is 1, date of the murder, July 18th, 73, and date of his arrest, August 17th, 1973. Now, our good friend Peter was actually born in Budapest, Hungary. So, he's actually a Canadian murderer, and in 1956, he immigrated from Budapest, Hungary, to Canada. So by 1962, he had started a successful career as a land developer in Toronto, Canada. In 1967, he married Austrian-born model Christine Ferrari, and after some time, the marriage began to strain, like any marriage does, I guess. And they had one daughter named Andrea. Well, to everybody's horror, on July 18th, 1973, his beautiful 33-year-old wife, Christine, was found murdered in her garage at the family home of 1437 Dundas Crescent North, Mississauga, Ontario. She was actually found bludgeoned to death. Eventually, Demeter was actually charged with the murder of his wife on July 18th, 73, and he was arrested at his home. This guy's a pretty big landscaper, had some money to throw around, right? So he's actually been represented. He was represented by his lawyers, Edward Greenspan and Joseph Palmeront. So this trial was actually known to be one of the most longest trials in Canadian history at the time. Convicted on December 6, 1974, for arranging the murder, he was there sentenced to life imprisonment. During this long-ass trial, there were two primary witnesses for the prosecutor, including a witness called Mr. X. He was wanted to hide his identity because he was scared shitless of this guy, so he was hooded throughout the trial. He was later to be identified as Gyala Vrog. So Vrog actually testified that Demeter had hired a hitman by the name of the Duck, a Hungarian small-time criminal. His name was actually Emir Olegenik. So another witness was actually Demeter's former friend and police informant, I want to say this right, Csaba Siglagi, and he testified that Demeter tried to hire him to murder Ferrari. Later on during the trial, there are actually secretly recorded tapes, recorded by Slagi, with conversations that Demeter after his wife's murder. So, a little bit of plot twist here. It was actually revealed that during the trial that the husband and wife might have been plotting to murder each other for insurance money. Although Demeter didn't testify to this, and he maintained his innocence throughout the trial. So, there wasn't really much that they could do. They tried to get him on everything, right? So they eventually went looking for the hitman. So on December 6, 1974, the Canadian government requested extradition from Hungary to get a hold of this Emir Olegenik, who's actually suspected to be the one who physically murdered Christine Demeter, or Christine Ferrari. So he was actually never found, and news reports indicated that Emir, the Duck, had died in Hungary in 1975. Even back in 83, it just goes on and on. This guy's just a straight up piece of shit. So Demeter, while he was living at a convict's halfway house, he was actually charged with planning a kidnapping. It was one of his cousins who had been looking over Demeter's daughter and overlooking his financial affairs. He was going to have this person kidnapped to gain some money and then have him killed. Now, for his evil plotting, Demeter was convicted in July 85 while serving time in prison. He was actually given a second life sentence. So, they fucked with him again in '83, and he was charged with arson in connection to his family home. Also in '88, he was charged with planning to kidnap and murder the daughter of his lawyer, Toby Bellman, which resulted in 2 additional life sentences. This guy pretty much spent his whole life in jail. Even in May 2006, a court judge, thought he had some other shady shit going on, and he ordered Demeter to provide a DNA sample to the county's DNA bank. Just something like law enforcement was doing at the time, just collecting data from prisoners, and Demeter refused to give a sample. So, not sure why. I mean, maybe he didn't want to be incriminated in other crimes. Who knows? While he was actually in prison, Demeter suffered a stroke, he had a heart attack, and he eventually had chemotherapy in relation to 3 diagnoses of cancer. So he's currently serving his term at the Medium Security Bath Institute in Bath, Ontario. Demeter will be in prison pretty much for the rest of his life because he's such a horrible person. In March 2019, Demeter applied for parole again, but was denied, and he released from prison. And that's all I got, folks. Just a little tale of some greed, insurance policies. I mean, the guy was he had his whole landscaping company, man. He had a beautiful wife, nice home. He could have just rolled with it. But, instead he conspired to kill his wife. Now he spends the rest of his life in jail. I mean, he was actually born to a wealthy family. And all that went to shit because they got impoverished following World War II and the rise of the communist government, all that fun stuff. And even when he immigrated to Canada, he was among 200,000 refugees who escaped the country after the suppression of the Hungarian Revolution of '56. So this guy could have had it all, and now he's just in jail, and he's going to die in jail. So good for him. Have yourself a wonderful work week, folks. I'm out.
To Kay Markson. Tom, Chris?
Well, this Friday marks the 30th anniversary of the brutal slaying of Christine Demeter, a killing that shocked the nation. Murder mastermind Peter Demeter is now battling disease and old age in a Kingston area prison, serving out his life sentence.
CFTO's Paul Bliss now with exclusive video and photos as he looks back at the case that stunned Canadians and served as a launchpad for careers, books, and Hollywood movies.
Behind the razor wire and chain link fence at Bath Institute near Kingston, Peter Demeter awaits his final sentence.
I will get my vindication soon after I am gone.
Now 70 and disfigured by a stroke, Demeter has been called evil, arrogant, and dangerous. In an exclusive prison interview with CFTO 5 years ago, Demeter refused to confirm or deny involvement in the slaying of his fashion model wife on July 18th, 1973.
Did you conspire or hire someone to murder your wife? I can tell you now, after 25 years, when it's neither here nor there, I served the 10 years.
The vicious murder shocked the nation. 33-year-old fashion model Christine Demeter was found beaten to death in the garage of her Mississauga home. 18 months later, her millionaire husband Peter was sentenced to life in prison. Investigators believe he paid a man nicknamed the Duck to kill Christine. The Duck was later murdered in a Hungarian prison. Peter was having an affair and Christine was insured for $1 million.
And it had all the elements of a Hollywood thriller.
Retired Peel Police Chief Bill Taggart launched his accomplished career with the Demeter investigation. The case spawned a Hollywood movie starring Elkie Summer, numerous books, and drew news media from around the world. Chief Taggart calls Demeter evil.
Twisted Tales.